This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everyone. Many of us on the path to change, some kind of transformation, different direction. We realize what's going on isn't really working in our lives. Okay, life is okay, but it's not feeling as wonderful as you feel it should, or maybe you're not seeing those things in your life that you feel that you truly deserve for whatever the reason may be. And many who have gone through a transformation in their lives say that there was a moment that changed everything. It's kind of an epiphany where they just like the car turned in their life and they went in that different direction. We're going to talk about that and so much more. She is a transformational life coach, has so much insight, has walked that journey, has experienced those moments many times of change. Our professional of the year, Donna Day, is back with us. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Really good. And very excited to talk about this. I am scanning my mind for some of those moments where I realize there's a change coming or feeling a transformation, beginning of a transformation. Can you think back, and you've shared a lot of personal things with us. Can you think back to maybe the first, like, wow, there's, I can see it now. I can see the change starting to take place. Or the realization, I gotta make some change here. Can you think of that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. You can have multiple throughout your lifetime, but my most recent one that was, I mean, totally life-changing, the biggest one was probably about a year and a half ago when I was going through a difficulty with my health where there was no diagnosis, but it was just extreme chronic pain and I had very limited mobility. And I was just kind of waiting for that, like, oh, this doctor's going to diagnose me so I can start getting moving, like just kind of like a sitting duck. And then I went to a specialist and I walked in the office and they were like, we're gonna put you on a low dose of chemo. And I'm like, for what? And they're like, well, it shows maybe in your blood work that you might have early onset rheumatoid arthritis. And at that point, I've already was a guinea pig with pain meds and different, medication for other things that were maybe it's this. And I was like, heck no. And that's when I decided I have to change things. I have to start taking my life in my hands instead of just waiting for someone to tell me what is going on. So that was my biggest, like, aha, enough is enough, time to start doing something different.
Do you feel, and thank you for sharing that, do you feel that when we're looking to transform our lives, that there is intuition that comes into play? Because it sounds like what you were saying there, something inside was saying, No, this doesn't sound right." Um, have you harnessed the power of your intuition or gotten better to maybe trust it?
Oh, yes, intuition, or sometimes I'll call it your inner voice that you listen to.
Sure.
But yes, and it keeps growing. I find that when you start to get more in tune with yourself and you're not just so overwhelmed and overburdened by outside noise, is when that inner voice or your intuition really starts speaking to you because you can then hear it. It's not being blocked or drained out. So, and like in that moment, nothing felt right about going on the chemo. And I was already like practically at rock bottom, but like something just was like, no, like this is a no. Like don't try this. You already tried this, this, and this, but this seems like a big like no. And so the way I go about things now, which is something newer, is if something doesn't sit well or doesn't feel aliving or like expansive, I just say no. There's no more maybes. And
Mm,
then if something just is like, ooh, I don't know, that doesn't feel right, I don't let that guilt or kind of like I feel like I have to do this because someone or something, or it's what logically seems to make sense. If it doesn't sit well with me and it's making my body hurt, I'm like, no. So, but it's something that you have to work with. You really got to get in touch with yourself. And we've talked before, meditation helps, just going on a nice walk, listening to some music, just not having, someone talk, 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 or having to help someone else, just taking a little time to yourself each day. It will help, that voice be heard or easier to hear.
How do you get to the point where you trust the voice? Because, I could go back decades of when I didn't trust it and I
Yeah.
knew I should have. I knew it, but I was like, it'll all work out. Well, no, it didn't because I should have listened to it. And there was other scenarios, even in recent years, where now I'm good. Now, and I guess maybe that is because I feel I transformed. I'm not the same person I was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I guess I trust me. I trust what's coming
That,
up.
that's it. It's learning to trust yourself, because when you can trust yourself, you can trust your feelings more instead of letting your mind take over and doing what you think you should be doing instead of what everything in you is trying to guide you towards or away from.
And I can remember in my journey, a lot of changes in the last 5 years. I just looked at the data. I was like, man, it's been 5 years of change. And it started exactly 5 years ago within a few days. I can remember 3 years after, 2 years after that, where when we talk about that moment that kind of changed everything, I walked outside from here. Figured I'd take a minute, just get a breath of fresh air, ground, whatever. And I remember just thinking, it's going to be okay. And I always call it the quiet calm, where it's just
Yeah,
like, yeah, things are crazy. There's a lot of uncertainty at that time,
yeah,
but it's going to be okay. And I remember looking up at the sun and just like, yeah, all right. And walked in, went back to work, and that was it. But I'll never forget the moment. It was a
yeah,
weird, like, I'll never, that was a turning point where, because prior to that, there was a lot of stress, anxiety, like, but it didn't change the uncertainty. It was there, but it was I guess the faith and the trust in yourself that, yeah, we're gonna pile through this. We've already gotten so far. We're gonna keep going with that. When I say we're, I mean me.
yeah.
No.
No, I mean I had a similar that happened before the chemo one. Is It was probably about a year prior to that. I just walked into work and I'm one of my coworkers. I was like, have you ever just had that thought, like, or ever think like everything you thought you wanted, you no longer want? And it was like an epiphany moment, like everything
Yep.
like that. The direction I was moving, like no longer felt like it fit, and I was like, I think I'm gonna like rearrange things and do some things a little bit different. But that was like kind of epiphany moment that led to more transformation.
I totally get it. And a lot of those things around us is from society, social
Yep.
media, messages, values growing up, where, you know, let's say a woman needs to have this big wedding and get married and blah, 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 blah. Or, people will look at you and see success when you've got the big house on the hill and you've got the dog and the two cats and the family and, wow, this is great. I can tell you it's an illusion. It's,
Yes.
I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And I don't know if I remember we talk in music, right? The song by the Talking Heads, Once in a Lifetime,
What time? Yep.
and where the lyrics are, you may find yourself with a beautiful wife and a beautiful house with a beautiful large automobile, blah, 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 blah. And you may say to yourself, well, how did I get here? Like, what is this?
Yep.
Why is this here? Is it really important anymore? Um, I really feel that when you get to that point in your life where you look at everything, you realize, and maybe it's a cliche, what's important, and you realize I don't need all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I just need peace.
But what you're also realizing is that you're getting more in tune with yourself
Yes.
when you have those aha or enough is enough like moments, where you get that sick and tired of being sick and tired feeling, like when you finally decide if it's to be, it's up to me. It's not up to anyone else or anything else. And you decide that there's no more blaming, there's no more waiting for things to happen. It's just time to take action, take, charge of your life and follow what feels right instead
Do,
of forcing or allowing something to fit that doesn't.
do you do this? Do you say to yourself with intention, what do I really want? What do I really need? Like even in a situation, what do you want? Saying it to yourself. Let's say you've got something to do this weekend. It involves other people. There's, commitments and things and people, and maybe you're not really into it. Do you ever say, you know,
Yeah.
what do I want? Everybody's saying this is what we got, but this is what we have to do. This is what we have. Really? Do you really have to? In any situation, have you done that? Like saying like, but you know what it is? I spoke to somebody close to me and he's in a relationship situation. And this sounds harsh to say this and it sounds very self-centered, but I said, what's in it for you? What's in it for you?
Yeah.
And when you think of it that way, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, very little in many
Yeah.
situations.
So, I mean, I don't think that's selfish at all. That's actually a really good friend looking out for their friend, getting them to see things in a different perspective, which will, I would assume or think that would help her, really figure out what she wants to do in the situation. That's a very powerful question. I like that. That was good.
Because you get so deep in situations in caring for
Yeah.
others, helping others, and all of that. Then you turn around, it's like, well, oh, hello, there's
Yeah.
me. I'm involved
Yeah.
in this. And what am I getting out of it? And very
Yeah.
little when you start asking that question. And that could even be, it could even be a job. You know,
Oh, yeah.
what's in it for
I
you?
mean,
What are you getting out of it?
I think you probably helped give her that aha. The start of it with that question.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it can be in any area of life. It doesn't have to be in a relationship. It could even just be with yourself. Like, a decision that you made that now you're like, that really the best decision? You can't change it, but you can change how you do things the next time. You know what
Yep.
I mean? So, that's powerful in itself. But for me, like, like as you were saying, is everyone has the choice. That's the power.
Yeah.
Everyone, is given the power of choice and decision. And a lot of people, I feel, give it to others. I used to. I'm one of them, guilty as charged. I used to give my power of decision and choice to others and allow them to make decisions and choices for me, and it's easy to get wrapped up in that. And to flip it, it's not so easy. It's kind of a painful journey to try to like figure it out because now all of a sudden, people aren't so happy with you because you're not just doing what they want.
Hmm.
And then that brings on a whole different, level or layer of emotion that you're working through on top of working through the other. And that's where, sometimes a coach, is a great asset to help you do that, to kind of
Totally.
have your, to have someone to help motivate you and support you and, move you along. But like, those are just always know that you do have the power of choice and decision. So if you're not really feeling it, you're choosing to either succumb to that or actually do what's, feeling in alignment with yourself. So,
Do
and
you, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Thinking about what's taking your power.
yeah,
What's stealing, if you will, your power? People, situations. I've done that in less than 6 months. and I honestly made changes in terms of time that I give to others. And it's
Mm-hmm.
on me. I allow it. But when I start realizing that I had goals over here, but I'm not attaining those goals because I'm allowing others to take my power or time and all of that, I started making shifts. And even, relationship with some friends, yeah, they're all cool. It's all good. And they got together last night and they were going to do, whatever. And I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I don't, that's not, no. And they're, oh, you're not coming over? I'm like, no, I have other things to do. And I'm not feeling, whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
Um, I would probably have just shown up anyway in the past, but it
Yeah.
wasn't in line with what I wanted to do. So,
Yeah.
it's not easy to make those changes.
No, and a lot of the times people will make you feel like you're being selfish,
Yeah.
but you're not being selfish. You're just learning to put yourself and needs first and making them the priority first instead of everything and everyone around you. And that's tough. That is not an easy thing to do.
Even in the situation last night, my
Yeah.
friend who organized this get together with a bunch of guys and, pizza and they're going to do a certain game or whatever. And I'm like, he even called me up on his way. And he's like, what do you mean you're not coming? Yeah, are you sure? What? I'm like, no, I'm still at work. I've had things to take care of. I have other things to do later. And it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
not feeling it. And I don't think he was offended, but he was just like, that's the way it is, but
Yeah.
there would have been a time a couple of years ago where it'd be like, yeah, I'm sure it'll be okay. And I'm sure it's been a good time, but I wasn't into it, wasn't feeling it. So why
Yeah.
do something you don't want to do unless you have to? There are some things where you have to.
Have to. Yeah. There are certain things.
Yeah.
But yeah, but for the most part, yeah. And I remember I used to do that. I would kill myself. Like I'd be working, then I'd be, helping my daughter with something, and then I'd have to like, do my second job or whatever the case is. And then this person's like, hey, come over. I'm freaking exhausted, but like I don't want to let them down. So I'm like, okay. And then I get to bed late, and then my next day I'm exhausted,
Yep.
and now what I need to do, what my priorities are now, I'm not going to be at my best because I spread myself too thin, and that's where burnout comes. And a lot of people will do that. I mean, that's just a basic example, but you know, um,
It's
but
real.
yeah, it's
It's
real. And you gotta not pour into everyone and everything else's cups more than yours, because if yours aren't full, then you have nothing to give.
how do we release the guilt? Because a lot of this comes down to guilt from others, guilt that we put on ourselves um, for not doing things, not engaging, because we're taking care of ourselves. Is there a way to release it? Is there a different way to look at it?
It's just kind of looking at it as like if you're looking when it comes to like transforming these things, you got to realize transformation is not polite for everyone. You're gonna
Mhm.
upset people. That's the way I always tell my clients is like transformation isn't polite, but it's fulfilling for you, kind of thing. It's fierce. It can be fierce. Like we gave many examples today on how it can be fierce, but it can also be loving, and it can be uncompromising. It's mostly about it's kind of like a line in the sand, it's your cannonball moment where you're like, I am done with what's holding me back and I am fully available for what's next kind of decree.
Mm.
So therefore like you're taking your power back when you have these enough is enough or aha moments. It's like kind of like, you don't want to let anyone down or anything like that, but you're like, you know what, it's my time, and that's where when you released your power to others, that's where the beginning of bringing that power back to you comes into play.
I think and yeah, I totally agree with you. And maybe honoring thyself.
Yes.
Like it's almost as if you're the king or the queen and you're honoring who that person is. Song just dropped in my head. I Won't Back Down by Tom Petty.
Oh my God, I love that song.
It is just, let's say you have a goal to transform your life and others are pulling You know, a lot of times you think if I won't back down of something you'll do for, others, whatever. I won't back down for that goal. That's it. I'm going
Yeah.
to keep powering through because if you give up some of that, you're taking a step back in terms of really transforming and moving your life in the direction you want to go in.
Yeah. It's just one of those things, that's kind of like you're gonna make a commitment to yourself instead of everything else.
Yeah.
And that like it's not an easy thing, it's scary. That's where fear comes back in. Because you get so used to behaving and reacting and responding a certain way that becomes, your comfort zone. So to kind of push outside of that and be like, you know what, I'm putting my foot out to, and I'm gonna do what feels right for me, even if someone else isn't totally thrilled about it. But that's a hard step out of the comfort zone when you're so conditioned to just kind of go with the flow,
Hmm.
you know?
What's Donna's commitment? Pick one commitment you've got right now that aligns with your higher purpose or your transformational goal. What are you looking at right now? What's on your mind?
Let's see. Um, Okay, this is one. I am working hard because this is one of my dreams that I want to do is actually host a retreat in Maine next year. So I'm working on getting all of that together for a reset, recharge retreat.
Ooh,
So I'm so excited about it. So it's like in the planning stages. But yeah, so
that
that's
sounds so exciting, and I'm being very honest. It's loving
So,
that idea.
yeah, because like I've done workshops, I've done vendor things, and I love all of them, but I kind of want to take that next step. And for me, that next step would be to host my own retreat.
And Maine, depending on where you live, I know
Yeah.
you're in the Northeast. Maine is very affordable to do stuff.
So, I also picked Maine because I have a beautiful family property that's right on the water across from Bar Harbor, and it's
Ah,
like an 8-bedroom house. So I think it would be
ooh,
perfect for this type of thing.
I'm a horrible friend because my friend moved to Maine and I have yet to get there.
Oh, Maine's huge though. This where I am, I was like right up near the Canadian border.
Oh
So very
wow.
up,
Wow.
up, up.
And talk about transformation. My friend was working in IT, computers and everything, rat race every single day, doing his thing. And one day he says, I'm not doing this anymore. And this is probably like 2005, around there. He just went online, found a farmhouse, bought it, 92 acres, hadn't even been there, hadn't even sold his house. And he just up and left. And he didn't have a job going there. His wife, and I grew up with him, his wife was making jewelry in a shed in their backyard, Long Island, New
Oh,
York. And that's what she did up there to support them.
oh wow.
Then they started selling stuff
Yeah.
online. And he got a job with the state doing some stuff. Um, they're on a farm. They got chickens. They got like a
Amazing.
complete transformation of
Yeah.
life. And I'm not that person. I always looked at him like you could pick him up and drop him anywhere and he'd figure it out. That's not me. I got to plan it, and all of that. But, it's a transformation. I think for me lately, getting back to the gym with
Yeah.
intention, and I changed it up, went to a different gym, went with a friend in the last couple of days and was like, whoa, all right, I'm seeing this is feeling good. And the laugh is he hurt his hand. He can't even work out. So I'm working out and he's talking. but it's
Oh, yeah.
but it's and he's giving, hey, you ever try this? Oh, I never did that, but I changed it. I made a change and I'm liking the change because I was still going to the gym anyway, but I wasn't really getting anything out of it. Um,
Yeah.
just
Then it's
seeing,
not. It makes it harder to keep going.
yeah, just seeing it in a different way. How do we connect with you, Donna? If somebody's looking to make a transformation, they really want to experience one of those moments of change, how do we find you?
If you'd like, set up a strategy session with me. It's complimentary on my website, which is www.donnadaytlc.com. You can also email me at donnadaytlc@gmail.com, or give me a call or shoot me a text at 201-719-6991.
I just gotta say, my intuition on the Maine retreat feels really good. I'm like, I got like quiet excitement inside. Like
Yeah,
this is a
right?
great idea. Thank you for today. Truly appreciate every time we get together.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for
We'll be right
having me.
back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.